I'm George Patterson, 67 years old, and I spent 42 years as a structural engineer before I retired. My wife Ellen passed 3 years ago from pancreatic cancer. We had one daughter, Jennifer, who's 39 now. After Ellen died, I sold our family home in the suburbs. Too many memories, too much house for one person. I bought a nice 2-bedroom condo in a quiet complex about 20 minutes from downtown Portland. Paid in cash. No mortgage, no debt. The leftover money from the house sale, combined with my pension and investments, meant I was comfortable, more than comfortable, actually. I stay active. I swim at the community pool every morning at 6. I volunteer twice a week at the food bank. I'm on the condo board. Last year, I hiked sections of the Pacific Crest Trail with my buddy Tom from work. At 67, I can outpace most people half my age. My mind's sharp. I manage my own investment portfolio. I read constantly. I just learned how to use Adobe Lightroom for the photography hobby I picked up. I'm not sitting in a rocking chair waiting to die, despite what some people seem to think. Jennifer married Brad Whitmore 5 years ago. Brad's 41, works in tech sales, drives a Range Rover, always talks about his network and his deals. They live in a nice rental house in Lake Oswego. No kids. They keep saying they're waiting until they're financially stable, which apparently means waiting until they can afford the exact lifestyle they want without any sacrifice. I hosted Thanksgiving dinner this year. It's become my tradition. I'm a decent cook, learned a lot helping Ellen over the years, and I actually enjoy it. Gives me something to do with the holidays. Jennifer and Brad arrived around 2 in the afternoon. Brad was wearing a Patagonia vest over a designer button-down. Jennifer had a new handbag I recognized from a magazine as easily $2,000. We made small talk while I finished up in the kitchen. Brad complimented the condo. Great space, George. Really smart move downsizing. These units must be worth what now? $450? $500? I don't really think about it, I said, basting the turkey. It's home. Still, impressive equity. And you've got what? The second bedroom just sitting there? I glanced at him. I use it as an office. And when Tom visits, he stays there. Right. Still, lot of space for one person. Jennifer shot him a look. I caught it but didn't say anything. We sat down to eat around 3. I'd made all of Ellen's recipes. Turkey, stuffing, green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce from scratch, pumpkin pie. The works. For the first 20 minutes, everything was pleasant. We talked about their jobs, my volunteer work, the condo association's decision to repave the parking lot. Then Brad shifted in his seat and cleared his throat. So, George, I wanted to run something by you. An opportunity. I set down my fork. What kind of opportunity? Investment opportunity. There's a startup I've been following. AI-driven logistics software. Early stage. But the potential is massive. I'm talking 10x returns in 3 to 5 years. Sounds risky, I said. That's where the returns come from. Risk and reward. I've already put in $20,000 myself. But they're closing this funding round next month, and I thought, with your engineering background, you'd appreciate the technical side of it. Plus, you're sitting on significant liquid assets from the house sale. I took a sip of water. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I'm not interested. Dad, you didn't even let him explain, Jennifer said. I don't need it explained. I'm 67. I'm not putting my retirement savings into a startup. I have a diversified portfolio managed by a fiduciary. Low risk, steady returns. That's what makes sense at my age. Brad leaned forward. With all due respect, George, that old school thinking is exactly why so many people in your generation missed out on the biggest wealth creation in history. Tech, crypto. You can't just sit on cash and bonds anymore. I'm not sitting on cash and bonds. I have a balanced portfolio, and it's served me well, for now. But inflation's eating away at it. You could be making real money. I have enough money. Do you? Brad's tone shifted slightly. Because, from where I'm sitting, you're living in a condo, swimming at the public pool, shopping at Costco. Ellen wouldn't have wanted you to just survive. She'd want you to thrive. I set my napkin on the table. Very carefully, don't talk about my wife. Brad's just trying to help, Jennifer said quickly. We both are. We worry about you. I don't need you to worry about me. I'm fine. You're isolated, Jennifer said. You're alone. You sold the house where I grew up without even asking how I felt about it. You were 36 years old. You had your own life. I didn't need permission to sell my house. Our house. My childhood home. Which I paid for. Which I maintained. Which was in my name and your mother's name. You weren't going to live there. Brad jumped back in. Look, here's the thing, George. Jen and I have been talking. We're concerned about you being alone. We think it might be time to consider other living arrangements. Other living arrangements. We've been looking at some really nice senior communities. Active adult communities, they call them. You'd have activities, social interaction, meals provided. You could sell this place, use that equity, and still have money left over. I stared at him. You want me to sell my home and move into a retirement community? It's not a retirement community. It's active adult living, 55 and up. Some of these places are like resorts. I'm not interested. Dad, just listen, Jennifer said. You're alone all the time. What if something happens? What if you fall? I'm not going to fall. I'm in better shape than Brad is. Brad's jaw tightened. This isn't a joke. You're right. It's not. So stop treating me like I'm incompetent. No one's saying you're incompetent. We're saying you're not being realistic about aging. You're 67, George. Things change. I swim every morning. I hiked 40 miles last month. I manage my own finances. I cook. I clean. I drive. What exactly is changing that I need to be warehoused somewhere? Jennifer's eyes got watery. We just want what's best for you. What's best for me is living independently in my own home, which I can afford, which I enjoy, and which is none of your business. Brad's face flushed. It becomes our business when we're the ones who'll have to deal with it when you can't take care of yourself anymore. If and when that day comes, which is not today, I have plans. I have long-term care insurance. I have a will, a trust, medical directives, power of attorney assigned to my lawyer. Everything is handled. Your lawyer? Not your daughter? I assigned power of attorney to my lawyer, yes. Someone objective. Someone professional. Jennifer looked like I'd slapped her. You don't trust me? This isn't about trust. It's about having someone who will follow my wishes without emotional conflict of interest. Brad threw his napkin on his plate. This is ridiculous. We're your family. We're trying to help you make smart decisions, and you're acting like we're trying to rob you. Are you? The silence was heavy. Brad's face went from red to almost purple. Excuse me? You show up here. Immediately ask about my home's value, then pitch an investment scheme, then suggest I sell my home and move into a facility. And now you're upset that I have legal protections in place. So I'll ask again. Are you trying to rob me? How dare you? Jennifer said, her voice shaking. We came here to have Thanksgiving with you, and you're accusing us of being criminals? I'm observing a pattern. Brad stood up. You know what? This is exactly why people end up alone. You're paranoid and selfish, and you're going to die alone in this condo because you pushed away everyone who cared about you. I'd rather die alone than be manipulated by people who see me as a bank account. We don't see you as a bank account. Jennifer was crying now. We see you as someone who's too stubborn to accept help. I don't need help. Yes, you do. You just won't admit it because of your pride. Brad grabbed his keys from the counter. We're leaving. Come on, Jen. Wait, Jennifer said. She turned to me. Dad, please. Just think about what we said, about the investment, about your living situation. We love you. If you loved me, you'd respect my decisions. Her face crumpled. You're being so unfair. I'm being honest. Brad put his hand on her shoulder. He's not going to listen. Let's go. Jennifer stood up slowly. As she did, she reached for her wine glass. Her hand was shaking. She picked it up, looked at me, and for a second, I thought she was going to throw it at me. She did. The glass hit me right in the chest, and red wine splashed across my white button-down shirt and up onto my neck and face. The glass fell to the floor and shattered. Wine dripped down onto my pants. I sat there, stunned. You want to treat us like criminals? Jennifer's voice was ragged. Fine. We'll act like the criminals you think we are. She turned and walked out. Brad followed her. The door slammed, I sat there for maybe 30 seconds, wine soaking into my shirt, glass on the floor around my chair. My chest hurt where the glass had hit. I was pretty sure it was going to bruise. I could feel my heart pounding. Then I stood up carefully, avoiding the glass. I walked to my bedroom and changed into a clean shirt. I took the wine-stained shirt and put it in a plastic bag. Then I went to my office, opened my laptop, and checked my security camera footage. I'd installed cameras 6 weeks ago. 2 outside the front door, 1 in the living room, 1 in the kitchen. I'd done it after Brad and Jennifer's last visit, when I'd found Brad looking through papers in my office while Jennifer distracted me in the kitchen. When I'd confronted him, he'd said he was just looking for a pen. But the drawer he was in had my financial statements. The cameras had caught everything. Jennifer throwing the glass, Brad's comments about my money, all of it. I downloaded the footage and backed it up to 3 different locations. Then I called my lawyer. David Martinez had been my attorney for 15 years. Ellen and I had used him for our estate planning, and after she died, I'd worked with him to restructure everything. He was 62, former prosecutor, sharp as a tack. He answered on the second ring. "George, happy Thanksgiving." "David, I need you to document something." "What happened?" I told him, calmly, clearly, exactly what had been said and done. When I finished, there was a pause. "Do you have the shirt?" "Bagged and sealed. The cameras caught it. Everything." "Okay. Do you want to press charges?" "Not yet. But I want it documented, in case this escalates." "Smart. I'll draft a memo to file, and timestamp it. You should also consider going to the ER. Get the injury documented medically, even if it's minor." "You think it'll escalate?" "George, they tried to get you to invest in a scheme, suggested you sell your home, and when you refused, your daughter assaulted you. Yeah, I think it might escalate." My chest felt tight. "She's my daughter." "I know, and I'm sorry, but you need to protect yourself." I drove to the ER at Providence. It was quiet on Thanksgiving evening. The nurse who triaged me raised her eyebrows when I explained what happened. "Your daughter threw a glass at you?" "Yes." "Are you safe at home?" "Yes." She left. I have security cameras and locks. They took photos of the bruise forming on my chest. They documented the wine stains on my skin that I hadn't completely washed off yet. They asked if I wanted to file a police report. I said not yet, but wanted the documentation. While I was waiting for the doctor to sign off on the discharge papers, my phone buzzed. Text from Jennifer. "Dad, I'm sorry. I was upset. We need to talk about your future. Please call me." I didn't respond. Another text came through. This one, from Brad. "George, what happened today was unfortunate, but we're still family. Let's meet next week and discuss things rationally. I can bring my financial advisor. We all want what's best for you." I blocked both numbers. When I got home around 10 p.m., I checked the cameras. No one had come by. I checked my email. Nothing unusual. Then I checked my bank accounts, something I do every few days anyway. There had been a login attempt on my primary checking account from an IP address I didn't recognize. It had been denied because of 2-factor authentication. The attempt had been made at 7:15 p.m., about 3 hours after Jennifer and Brad left. I took a screenshot. I sent it to David. He called me 2 minutes later. "Tell me you have 2-factor on everything." "Everything financial, yes. And I get alerts for any login from a new device. Change all your passwords. Tonight." "And George, I think you should call the police." "And tell them what? My daughter threw a glass at me, and someone tried to log into my bank account? I don't have proof it was them. You have the IP address. They can trace it." I sat down at my kitchen table, the table where we'd eaten Thanksgiving dinner 5 hours ago. There were still dishes in the sink, leftover turkey in the fridge. The floor where Jennifer had thrown the glass was clean now. I'd swept it up, but I could still see it happening in my mind. "Let me think about it," I said. "Don't think too long." I spent the next 2 hours changing every password I had. Bank accounts, investment accounts, credit cards, email, everything. I set up additional security questions using answers that Jennifer wouldn't know. I called my bank's fraud line and put an alert on my accounts. At midnight, I was exhausted. I went to bed but didn't sleep well. I kept thinking about Jennifer as a little girl. How she'd sit on my shoulders at the park. How proud she was when she learned to ride a bike and I was the one who taught her. How she cried when I walked her down the aisle at her wedding. How she'd thrown a glass at me. The next morning, I swam my usual mile. When I got back to the condo, there was a car parked in the visitor spot near my door. Brad's Range Rover. He was sitting in the driver's seat, engine off. When he saw me, he got out. "George, we need to talk." "No, we don't." "Yes, we do. You can't just cut us off. We're family. Family doesn't assault each other. Family doesn't try to break into bank accounts." His eyes narrowed. "What are you talking about?" "Someone tried to access my checking account last night from an IP address in Lake Oswego. And you think that was us? That's insane." "Is it? You show up asking about my money. You try to get me to invest in your scheme. You suggest I sell my home. You get angry when I refuse. Jennifer throws a glass at me. And then someone tries to hack my account. What would you think?" "I'd think you're a paranoid old man who's losing his grip on reality. Get off my property. This is a condo complex. It's not your property. Then I'll call security." He stepped closer. "You do that. And while you're at it, think about this. Jennifer's your only child, your only family. You really want to burn that bridge over money?" "I'm not burning anything." "You are. By treating me like an ATM? We're trying to help you. By stealing from me?" His face darkened. "We haven't stolen anything. Yet. But you know what? Keep pushing us away. Keep hoarding your money. And when you're lying in this condo with a broken hip and no one finds you for 3 days because you drove away the only people who cared, that's on you." He got back in his car and drove off. I stood there shaking, not from fear, from anger. I went inside and called David. "I want to press charges." "Good. Call the police. I'll meet you there." I called the Portland Police non-emergency line. They sent an officer out within the hour. Officer Melissa Torres, mid-30s, professional, thorough. I showed her the security footage. I showed her the medical documentation from the ER. I showed her the screenshot of the login attempt. She watched the video twice. When Jennifer threw the glass, Officer Torres's expression didn't change, but I saw her jaw tighten. "Mr. Patterson, this is clearly assault. The login attempt is concerning, but harder to prove. We can include it in the report, but unless we can definitively trace it to them, it's circumstantial." "I understand. Do you want to pursue charges for the assault?" I thought about Jennifer as a little girl. I thought about Ellen, what she would want. Then I thought about that glass hitting my chest. About Brad's threats this morning. Yes. David arrived while Officer Torres was finishing the report. She explained that they'd forward the case to the DA's office. Given the evidence, there was a strong likelihood Jennifer would be charged with assault in the 4th degree. Brad could potentially be charged as well, if they could prove the account access attempt. After Officer Torres left, David and I sat in my living room. "You did the right thing," he said. "Did I? George, they assaulted you. They attempted financial exploitation. This isn't about being vindictive. It's about protecting yourself. She's my daughter. I know. But she's also an adult who made a choice. Multiple choices. Over the next week, things got worse. Jennifer and Brad hired a lawyer, an aggressive one who sent a letter accusing me of elder abuse toward myself through self-isolation, of making false accusations, of being mentally unfit to manage my affairs. They filed a petition to have me evaluated for competency. David crushed it. He provided documentation of my recent physical showing. I was in excellent health. He provided my bank statements showing I managed my finances perfectly. He brought in my swim coach from the community pool who testified I was more capable than most 30-year-olds. He brought in Tom, my hiking buddy, who talked about our recent trip. The judge dismissed their petition within 15 minutes, but they didn't stop. They started calling my neighbors, telling them I was having mental health issues, asking them to keep an eye on me. Mrs. Chen from upstairs came to my door, concerned, and I had to explain the whole situation. She was horrified. "Your own daughter? I'm so sorry, George. They called the condo board and tried to have me removed for erratic behavior. The board president, who I'd worked with for 2 years, called me personally to tell me they'd rejected the complaint. Through all of this, I kept swimming. I kept volunteering. I kept living my life. But it was exhausting. The stress of it. The betrayal. 2 weeks after Thanksgiving, Jennifer was formally charged with assault in the 4th degree. The DA offered her a plea deal. No jail time, probation, anger management classes, and a no-contact order. She rejected it. She wanted to go to trial. Her lawyer's strategy became clear quickly. She wasn't denying throwing the glass. She was claiming it was justified because I was elderly, incompetent, and refusing necessary help. She was painting herself as a desperate daughter trying to save her father from himself. David was ready. At the trial, which happened in early January, he systematically destroyed their narrative. He brought in my doctor, who testified I had the health markers of someone 15 years younger. He brought in my financial advisor, who testified my portfolio was conservative, but well-managed and appropriate for my age and risk tolerance. He brought in the food bank director, who talked about my volunteer work and mental acuity. Then he played the security footage. The courtroom was silent as they watched Jennifer throw that glass. Watched the wine hit me. Watched the glass shatter. Watched me sit there, stunned. Her lawyer tried to argue about the context, about the conversation that led to it. But David had the full footage. The jury heard Brad asking about my home's value. They heard the investment pitch. They heard them trying to get me to sell my home. The jury deliberated for less than an hour. Guilty. The judge sentenced her to probation, 100 hours of community service, and a 5-year no-contact order. She also ordered Jennifer to pay restitution for my medical bills and court costs. As I left the courthouse, I saw Jennifer crying on the steps. Brad had his arm around her. She looked up and saw me. For a second, I thought I saw regret in her eyes. Then Brad whispered something to her, and she looked away. I haven't spoken to them since. It's been 3 months now. I still swim every morning. I still volunteer. I still manage my own life just fine. But I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt. She was my daughter, Ellen's daughter. There's a hole in my life where she used to be. Tom asked me last week if I regretted pressing charges. I thought about it, really thought about it. No, I said, because if I hadn't, they wouldn't have stopped. They'd have kept pushing until they had control of everything. My money, my home, my life. And then what would I have been? A prisoner in my own existence, funded by my own savings, waiting to die so they could inherit. That's dark. It's realistic. I'm 67, Tom, not 97. I've got 20, maybe 30 good years left. I'm not spending them being manipulated. He nodded. You did the right thing. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But it was my choice to make, my life to live, my boundaries to enforce. And that's the thing they never understood. Being older doesn't mean being helpless. It doesn't mean you owe your children access to your life savings. It doesn't mean you have to accept being managed, controlled, or warehoused for their convenience. I earned what I have. I saved. I invested wisely. I worked 42 years. Ellen and I built our life together. And when she died, I restructured my life into something that works for me. I'm not selfish for wanting to keep it. I'm not incompetent for refusing to hand it over. I'm not senile for setting boundaries. I'm just a 67-year-old man who knows his worth and refuses to be exploited, even by family, especially by family. Because sometimes, the people who claim to love you are the ones you need protection from the most. I swim every morning at 6. The water's cold, but it wakes me up, reminds me I'm alive, reminds me I'm still here, still capable, still independent. I'm George Patterson. I'm 67 years old, and I'm not going anywhere.